Hey guys, so this is a quick infomercial of what you're about to watch. Keep in mind that I am not a YouTuber. The video you're about to watch is not edited, not cut. It's full on just like a newbie type video. Keep in mind that when I record and I am nervous, I get major lazy eye. So for about 12 minutes of the video, you're gonna see a lot of lazy eye in there. I don't know why. And then it kind of goes away. I'm recovering from a breakout from stressing out and Mother Nature. So I didn't want to add more makeup or add makeup to my face and worsen it. So I'm just going natural. But yeah, this is my first video. Drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think of it. How did I do? And let me know what you would like to see next. I'm thinking to do a house tour, which is well overdue. I know a lot of you guys tend to like my decor, so I might do that. If not, give me some suggestions. But other than that, enjoy the video you're about to watch. Thank you for joining me. For those that don't know, my name is Andrea and I am the business owner of Dream Vanities. Today's video is to explain to you guys why I decided to sell my business, which is still in the process of happening, but I wanted to kind of tell you guys about myself, how Dream Vanities came about, and how it's coming to an end with me, at least. So for those that don't know, my name is Andrea. I am 25 years old and I decided to make this business when I was about 22. So a lot of people assume that I landed a good business. I saw it was a good industry and I decided to make a business out of it, but I actually originally simply wanted to buy one for myself, but back then it wasn't as popular, I would like to say. Maybe because I didn't know about the industry, but I want to say the whole vanity scene was not big back then. So I was looking on OfferUp. I didn't know of any companies that did sell vanity mirrors. And so they were very expensive, very little, and they did not include lighting, which the whole purpose of a vanity mirror is the lighting. If I just wanted no lighting, I'd buy a regular mirror. So that was kind of dumb. I decided that I would just make my own with my dad because he was very handy with that. And we did it within like a week. I posted about it. This was in 2016. I posted about it towards the end of the year. And it started with me just making them on the side for my friends. I would go to Home Depot, get everything I needed, and I would just work after work or on the weekends making frames for my friends. By January of 2019, I decided to create an Instagram for it just because I was getting a lot of inquiries to make mirrors for other people. And that's when I started seeing more about the Ace family, and they had just moved into their first apartment or second apartment with their daughter Elle. And I reached out to them. I offered them a mirror in return of publicity, and they did give me an opportunity. So I believe their video is still up. It's called This Is How We Party, but they did put me on their video while installing the mirror. So that was pretty cool. That was back in 2017. I also met the twins in 2017. 3 months into being in the business, I reached out to them for publicity, and they did take my offer, and since then we've been working together. So this is just basically how my business really got started, thanks to the Ace family, thanks to the twins, and also Glam Trash Makeup. I've known her since 2017 and she's always been so supportive of my business. I want to say she was the first reason, or the first person I went to San Diego for. So that was pretty cool. Shortly into starting my business, I got very confident and I quit my job, which was a very bad decision because shortly after I started my website and I started shipping, which led to my first downfall. The shipments all arrived damaged. 8 of 10 shipments would break, and that meant replacing the shipment, replacing the product. So shipping again, and the shipping alone cost me about $200 more than I anticipated. So I was paying $200 out of pocket. The second time I ship it, now I'm paying double. And that whole situation ended up putting me in debt, which led to me going back to work. So I should have never quit my job the first time around, but you live and you learn. I quit my job and I ended up going back in about September, started paying off my debt. 2018, I started getting back on track. I started shipping again. I realized that if the mirrors were breaking when shipping, then I should just take the mirror off the frame and have the customer get the mirror in their city. We basically look up where you live and find your location that can make you a glass. You go pick it up, put it in your frame, you're good to go. So since we changed that procedure, shipping has been so much better. It's very uncommon to have a damaged frame or shipment altogether, but making that change really did help. In 2018, I also did get my assistant, which was amazing because I was juggling so much. And now that I have my assistant, when I got her, she was basically doing 20-30 hours of work that I did not have. So a lot of the work was just not getting touched. I would basically just work all day and people would text me like, hey, are you gonna come tomorrow? And I'd be like, yeah, I'll be there. But I wouldn't actually like schedule people. It was so bad. It still worked out, but I really needed an assistant. So 2018, got myself the assistant. A little towards the end of 2018, I ended up quitting or letting go of the other job again. I was kind of doing bad on it anyway because I was so busy with my own business. I was trying to multitask with my other job. I basically got let go, if I recall correctly. It was more of me getting let go, but honestly, it was good side money, but I didn't mind it. The business was doing well at that point, and I was confident that I did not have to continue working for someone else and stress myself out even more. So I stopped working in 2018 once again, and since then I haven't had to work a second job, which is amazing, thank God. Towards the end of 2018, I started coming across a lot of companies that were starting to rise up. Small business owners doing Hollywood vanity mirrors. And there was one day in particular where I'm sure most of you might recall this, but somebody was posting pictures of my products and I reposted the page and mentioned that they are using my pictures, and I asked people to report the picture. But that whole incident totally like backfired in the sense that now the person that I asked people to report their pictures from, they went and just had a bunch of people like send me threats and things like that. So it was total chaos. But what I remember in particular about that time frame and at that point in time, I never talked about it, but long story short, I had gone to the bank and someone overheard like an amount I withdrew, and they followed me to my home, and I went to like a bank far away because I was so anxious about withdrawing money and stuff like that. So I went purposely to a different bank that was further out, and they followed me all the way home and attempted to rob me. I was still in my car. They broke into my car, and thank God, one way or another, I was able to get out of that situation and drove straight to a police station. But that was what my 2018 looked like. It was a pretty good year, but it ended like on a bad note, if I can. I mean, it did end on a bad note, but other than that, business was good. My personal life, it kind of took a toll on me, which is why I decided to make my Instagram private. As most of you might recall, 2019 came, and then it was another good year. We started growing. I still had my page private up until about 2 months ago, I think. I was able to meet Erika Angel. I was able to work with Rosie Rivera, Chiquis, and Maria Estrella. 2019 was a really good year, but with all the growth, it just meant more work for me. So I always see people mention like, oh my god, she makes them herself and this and that, but I've never said that I make these myself. I used to. When I started, I used to like cut up the wood, put it together, paint it, everything. But I wasn't a really good wood cutter, and I wasn't good at assembling and stuff like that. So I decided to give that job to someone else, save myself some time, just because it was way too much work to begin with. It wasn't realistic for me to cut everybody's frames, assemble everybody's frames, paint everybody's frames, you know, make them light up, go install them, and still handle social media, which is a big part of the business and the customer service. So a lot of people tend to say that she makes them herself, but I would love to clarify once again that I do not. I invested in having a builder, having a painter, and then I would install everything else onto the frame and then go do the installs, do the customer service, do the marketing, social media, everything. So I wear every single hat. If you need a repair, I'm your girl. If you need customer service, I'm your girl. And if you just have anything you need, like, it's me, and it's a lot of work. I did have my assistant, but there's only so much she can do. I have her strictly focusing on certain stuff like scheduling me, invoicing, and stuff like that. But it's still a lot of work. So a lot of you guys say, why don't you hire someone? But it's not that easy, unfortunately. I have tried hiring multiple people, but the job that I do is not easy. It's very tedious work, very it's a lot of like labor you have to do. It's constantly working with your hands, standing up, sitting down, doing the same thing repetitively for hours. So it's not something that a lot of people want to do, that a lot of girls want to do. Not something that a lot of guys can do. Weirdly, I don't know why. I've hired guys and they can't seem to do the job that I do, and it becomes a little frustrating for me, because if I can do it, I expect a guy to be able to do it as well, and unfortunately that's not the case. So I have tried hiring people, and I end up wasting my time because it slows me down. I waste my money, and it doesn't work out. So people always throw these ideas at me as if I haven't tried it, but I have. I've tried every possible avenue to try to fix this, make it work better, faster, but it doesn't work. So I have tried hiring people, and that's between like the past couple years, really. Like I tried some at the very beginning towards 2018, 2019, and then eventually I just gave up. I realized that even if it meant putting more hours in myself, that I could get a lot of the work done faster than other people could, and I would do the job right. That's another one of my faults, maybe. I've always wanted to do everything myself to make sure that it's done right. I could hire someone to go do installs for me, so I could just stay inside and not have too much to do. But installs is where I get a chance to meet all of my customers, even if it's for 15 minutes. And I get to do the job quickly. I know how to do it. I just get in and get out. It's super simple. It takes about 15 minutes. 15 minutes for any of you who have seen it happen. So I get worried to send someone else to do an install, and it takes them forever. They leave a bad impression. And I don't know. I'd rather do all of the work if it means it gets done right. But it came with a price, which meant me not being fully happy because of all the work I've had to do. You wake up and you're working on the phone, social media, emails, everything, taking care of like order inquiries and stuff like that. And then you go into the shop, you're actually doing labor, trying to get all the frames ready. You go out, you're driving, you're in traffic, you do your install real quick, on to the next. in between your installs, in between driving, you're like responding to people. You go back to the shop, finish some more, go back home, do some more social media. Like, it's never ending. You guys don't understand how hard it is to run a business. In the perfect world, I would hire people and I wouldn't have to take care of that, but it's not that easy. It really isn't. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I have truly tried hiring people and it doesn't work. So it all falls back on me. And it's just way too much work, which led to my decision earlier this year, which I mentioned on my Instagram, that I would be selling my business. And that's because this industry is never, it's such a fast-paced industry. I don't see it dying anytime soon because of the beauty industry, and I don't see myself getting a break. I would love to start a family, and I would constantly talk to my customers about it. Like, I can totally see myself with a belly, still hustling, doing some installs. Maybe once I have my baby, bring the baby along. Like, I don't know, like, I never wanted having a family to slow me down from the business. But when I really thought about it, I want to spend as much time as I can with my child, and this business is not going to let me do that. So I don't know, just the more I thought about it, I think how busy I've been and stuff like that made me realize that I've lost the joy in what I do. And I'm not about the money. I will not do anything, no matter how much I get paid, if I'm not happy. And that's what it's come to, unfortunately. Maybe at some point in time I can get back into it, God willing. If I could get a bigger team, try it again, do it right. But at this point in time, I need some rest. I need to start over, maybe find a different passion. I did decide to go back to school, so I want to go and keep my mind fresh, learn some new things, and try to figure myself out. Try to see where I'm heading, and hopefully in the near future start a family. I have mentioned to you guys that I would consider doing insemination if it came to it, because family is like, having kids is such a big important thing for me. And unfortunately, for some, the business isn't gonna, I wouldn't choose the business over babies. So I need to start making the changes now so I could feel a little more relieved, more happy, and more at peace altogether. So I'm sorry if the video seems like I'm a little rambling. I tried going in like the order of the way things have happened and what basically led to my decision now. As you guys can see, it's just always been fast-paced. Like, it's always work, work, work. It wasn't always good, but I was still hustling, working my butt off. I had some questions from you guys on Instagram regarding my decision. One thing I did want to point out, which I just realized I totally forgot. When I decided to make the business, my main goal was the tall selfie mirror, which I thought to myself, like, oh my gosh, I've never seen that out there. How cool would that be? And then eventually I actually ended up finding 2 individuals that made it for personal use, like a little home project. And then sorry, they ended up seeing that I was making a good business out of it, and then they started all of a sudden doing it themselves. One of them was just a carpenter, like he was doing kitchens, and all of a sudden he was doing vanity mirrors. And the other one was a beauty guru who wanted one for her room, and she made it with her husband, and all of a sudden she went from beauty guru to like selling vanity mirrors. So that's how the tall selfie mirror really came about, and eventually everybody and their mama started making one. So that was that. The one I have behind me is the twins custom. The twins custom was named after the twins, Maria twins, because they had our regular talls, but I would notice they always had like all their friends squeezing into that mirror. And I was like, you know what? I think you guys would benefit from a much bigger mirror and a much bigger home. And yeah, I named it after them, the Twins Custom. But I'm gonna go quickly through some of the questions you guys had, and I'll end it there. Let's see. Do you think you'll ever change your mind? No, I do not think I will. As far as my current decision to just be like, you know what, I don't want to sell it, no, that's not going to happen. Unfortunately, if in the future I decide to get back into this industry, that's a whole different story. I would probably just create a whole new name, and I would do it the right way this time. But no. Someone asked if the Instagram is going to be deactivated. It is not. Whenever I sell the business, the account will go with it, which goes with like some other questions. Somebody asked if the person that takes over will show their face. I don't know if they will. They're technically not required to, but it would be nice for you guys to see who's taking over now. And a lot of you guys do mention like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're leaving. Like, I wanted to purchase one, you know, before you go, but I can't because of whatever situation may be. I don't want you guys not to purchase because I'm not there anymore. I'm literally just leaving my brand in the hands of someone else, and I want to really do my homework and make sure I give it to the right person, because I want them to have the same integrity that I have, the same, you know, work ethic. I want them to provide the same customer service, the same warranty that I did. Like, I want them to basically take over what I'm doing and continue it. I would hate for someone to take over and just like mess up my brand, but in reality, I can't control that once the business is sold. So fingers crossed. We don't know exactly how that'll go. Someone asked what was the proudest moment in my business. Making it this far is honestly my proudest moment. I was going through the comments that a lot of you guys left on my picture where I mentioned about selling the business, and one really got to me because she said, she had this really long message, but she basically said, this doesn't mean you failed, it just means you're on to your next journey. And I appreciated that message so much, because I avoided coming to this decision because I was afraid of being judged. But so many people are afraid of being judged that it leads to them going into depression because they're trying to bottle it in and make it seem like there's something that they're not. And for a long time I did that, and I was so unhappy, and I realized I'd rather be judged than live with that unhappiness. So I appreciated her comment. Making it this far is truly my proudest moment. Advice on starting your own business: definitely do your research. It's not easy doing a business. Clearly you don't need a lot to start a business. I did it, so if I did it, you could do it. It requires a lot of patience. There's always gonna be rough times, but you have to push through. And sometimes when you push through, that next moment is like your big break, and it's amazing, but it's a constant cycle. Something always happens, and you have to be prepared for that. Someone said, why would I give up my hard work? Unfortunately for you, just to clarify, it's not giving up my hard work. It's gaining my happiness, my peace, and everything in between. So I'm not giving up my hard work. If I simply decided to just delete my Instagram and stop selling, that's giving up. But I want someone to take over and continue the journey that I unfortunately no longer can do. So I hope that answers your question, but I'm not giving up my business. And let's see. I will end it with, I'll do two more. Someone asked how much I'm selling it for. Sorry, apparently my camera has a limit on how long a video can be, but as I had mentioned somebody had asked how much I was selling my business for, but it's, unless you're interested in purchasing, asking questions like that is, with all due respect, not some of or everyone's business. As I mentioned, my incident back in 2018 where I almost got robbed, they broke into my car as I was in there. Money can make people so greedy, so evil, and for me to mention any numbers out there, it literally puts a target on my head and someone will come to find me. So for my safety, I will not be mentioning any numbers unless you're literally interested in purchasing a business. Then you have the freedom to ask, but if you're not, it's none of your concern, for my safety in general. And I'll do one more question. And I feel like a lot of the questions were a bit repetitive. Someone did say, what will you do if not Dream Vanities? You are irreplaceable. You guys are so sweet. I can't believe how many messages I have gotten that are just so sweet, so kind. Again, I mentioned I was avoiding telling everybody and making this decision because I was afraid of the negativity and the judgment, but I actually had a lot of people be so supportive about this decision because mental health is everything, and I could have kept running the business, but I would have just not been myself anymore and I would have been unhappy, and it could have led to something very bad. So I'm very glad I made this decision. If I'm not doing Dream Vanities, I don't know exactly what I will do, but I do plan on going back to school and I'll see where that takes me. Hopefully within the next year I can have some babies. There'll be some dream babies and that's about it, really. I think the part that hurts me the most, aside that I love what I do, I simply have lost the passion in it because of all the stress it has put me under. But I will truly miss all of the people I met in this industry, all of the supportive people, all of the supportive customers. I always had only 15 minutes with every customer, and some of these 15 minutes impacted my life so much. Like, I would have the deepest conversations with my customers. I would try very hard to not be awkward and stuff like that. Some customers do not want to talk to me at all. Some of them just leave me in the room. Some of them just watch me but don't say anything. And others are very talkative. We get to communicate. And it honestly feels like we've been friends forever. So I'm definitely going to miss that. And I hope everybody continues to follow me, at least on my personal page, so we can keep in touch. And I can hopefully help you guys if you have any questions regarding your vanities in the future. We are tied for life despite me not being in charge anymore in the future. If whoever takes over doesn't really do their job right. I hate to say it, but I'm here for you girls to the best of my abilities. So follow me on my personal page. It's A_Daro with 7 O's. And yeah, that's about it. I'll leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I know this is not your typical YouTuber video. I don't look like a YouTuber. Definitely don't act like a YouTuber. And I don't edit like one either. So thank you guys for putting up with like 27 minutes of rambling. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna miss you guys so much in that industry, at least. But you guys can follow my personal page to see life updates, decor updates, and to see what I'm gonna do with myself in the future and when I have babies, of course. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one. I love you guys.